Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm talking about how the Rocks pirates fell. Of course, we are in the flashback of Rocks and his crew right now, as we see in multiple manga panels, and the flashback should be coming to an end in the next maybe 2 or 3 or 4 chapters. Now, by the time you see this video, the flashback may already be over, as I am a couple of weeks ahead on videos, and I'm starting back my other job soon. So I just really wanted to get ahead. Now, there has been many discourse, at least this week and previous weeks, along with this flashback, on how the Rocks pirate inevitably fell. As we know, Rocks has an incredibly strong crew with Shiki, Whitebeard, Kaido, at most, with this strong crew, and they mostly were, they have incredible feats against them, and how they pose such a threat to the world government, as well as Rocks starts off, or we're introduced to him as he already killed an admiral, so we already know how huge of a threat he is, and as someone who invaded the Holy Land and stared face to face with Imu. Not many pirates have done that, and I don't think not all pirates have done that. I think it's only like Rocks, and maybe Roger Roger of course knew of the existence of a person like Imu that is at the top or behind the scenes of the world government. Of course, someone, and Whitebeard may have already knew of someone like that, but Rocks is the only person, at least as we know of, that was able to meet her face to face outside of maybe Sabo. And I'm strictly talking pirates. Sabo's a revolutionary, totally different things. In terms of that, people are asking how they fell despite being so powerful at the God Valley incident arc. Well, there's many theories around this. I think the most objective one, except when the manga chapter comes out for God Valley, if they don't off-screen it, will be that they were too strong to exist. Also, there is a point in this recent chapter of the manga that came out the manga chapter that came out August 17th, where it talks about Whitebeard having such a strong fruit, and Kaido says, "Oh, I wish I had such a strong fruit like Whitebeard." Now, of course, this is the official translation from Viz. I don't know if there's others that's translated to a different one, but it mentions that Kaido did not have the fruit at the time of when he was in the Rocks Pirates. Now, he probably does get it later on before he becomes a Yonko. Now, at the time, Kaido does not have the fruit when he is with the Rocks Pirates. So, according to anything, Whitebeard has a fruit, Big Mom has a fruit, and mostly everyone has a fruit, except for the powerful Kaido. Of course, Kaido may have used to haki, of course, as many of his other companions do, but he doesn't have his strong fruit yet. And his fruit, despite how powerful he is in haki, is an incredibly use in terms of anything. It allows him to be super durable. So he may have been one of the reasons why the Rocks Pirates fell. But now we know, outside of that the world government wanted to, at least in this recent chapter, August 17th chapter, you'll see this like 3 weeks later, that Elbaf was given an ultimatum saying, if you want to be part of the world government, you have to kill Rocks. Now, this ultimatum did not happen, of course, in canon, as Elbaf is not part of the world government at all. They're not anywhere close to being part of the world government. So we know inevitably that plan failed, or at least having King Harold do that deed to be a part of the world government to kill Rocks had failed, at least in the streamline of things. Now, this can easily be retconned and say, oh, Harold still ended up killing Rocks, or at least Harold joined his crew and helped in the assassination or the background of Rocks' inevitable downfall. They didn't directly kill him, but set up the parts to knock him down. But inevitably, the Rocks Pirates were too strong to exist. Imagine Rocks. He would be an incredibly old man by the time Luffy came on the scenes, right? Was able to rule the seas despite whatever he wanted. His plan, of course, was to topple the world government entirety. He did not like seeing Imu at the top. He knew Imu had to go. So eventually, he makes this all-powerful crew. Of course, they didn't have chemistry, but seeing how Rocks is extremely Luffy, Garp-like in terms of personality. He does have the will of D, where of course he can be serious at times, but he still cares for his crewmates and he still has the goofiness and the smile of the Will of D member, like many of the Will of D members that we are introduced to, who always has a feg or an incredible appreciative smile of freedom. They all have that within them. So seeing his care and of course his laughter and his jokingness for his crew and for everyone around him, we can see that there was a little bit of chemistry, but his crew was too strong. There was no stopping this crew, and there had to been a betrayal of the crew. So inevitably, when God Valley is shown, maybe this chapter that is coming out, or next week's chapter, or whatever chapter is coming out, we will see that there had to have been a betrayal, or the Rocks Pirates being attacked by Garp, Roger, and all these other powerful members of the Navy got spooked, and with King Harold's, of course, betrayal and help, took down Rocks. Now, of course, Harold doesn't do a specific kill, as they are good friends. I don't think they'll kill him, but I think he'll set up the foundation to where Rocks gets toppled. Or entirely, this is what can happen. Rocks sends his crew to multiple parts of the sea. Now, he lets his crew do what they want, as the crew wants to eventually build their own family, build their own rulers of the sea, and Rocks goes into hiding. Rocks, of course, still dies of old age just because he can't be alive. He'll be like almost 90 in terms of if he was to stay alive in the One Piece current timeline. So inevitably, he either goes into hiding, or Harold inevitably sets up the building blocks so where Rocks gets killed in the God Valley incident, and inevitably he's erased from the whole history of the pirate, who once ruled the seas, as he's known as the era of Rocks, at least while Roger was on the come up. So that is how I think they fell. Of course, when this video drops, there may be an entirely different reason they fell. But I think, one, Harold will set up the foundation of his betrayal. I don't think Harold will do the killing blow. Two, I think within the killing blow would have to be Roger or Garp. Garp getting the recognition of being the hero of the Marines. It may come from the God Valley incident. So Garp may decide the killing blow of Rocks. And three, they were too strong. They all wanted their own piece of the pie. Inevitably, 4 of them became emperors of the sea. And if you want to count Shiki becoming an emperor, all 4 of them did become rulers of the sea, because Shiki was a Yonko, Whitebeard was a Yonko, Kaido was a Yonko, and Big Mom was a Yonko. So all 4 became a ruler of the sea. Of course, Shiki inevitably did get kicked out because of his own doing. So we all know that. Incredibly powerful, but they wanted their own. So whenever I see on the feed why the Rocks Pirates inevitably had to fall, they were just too powerful. They had to go. The world government recognized this, and they tried it, and they're setting him up. This video will come out this Friday, because putting this in September would be ridiculous. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.